this room than anywhere else.
It's on your radio right now.
Do you know how to pop that coochie for a green?
There you go. It's the world's most dangerous morning show.
Got the cameras, I'm about to
Green, what kind of show is this? My son listens to this show.
The Breakfast Club.
with DJ Envy, the captain of this bitch.
With Angela Yee, the only one who can keep these guys in check.
Charlamagne the God.
I'm a lovable asshole.
And this is the Breakfast Club, bitches. Good morning, USA.
Hey fam, happy Thursday.
It's Thursday.
One more day till Friday.
That is right. I'm hyped. Well, I'm hyped a little bit. So, this weekend is homecoming from Hampton University. So I'm excited. I always go back to my school. I love to go back to my school.
Oh, you went to Hampton?
Shut up. You know I went to Hampton and graduated from Hampton. So yeah, I get to go back to the school, but they're doing things, of course, restricted because of the pandemic and COVID. So, but I have fun. I go back. I get to see a lot of my old classmates, some of my old teachers. It's just a vibe when you go back to homecoming. Whether it's Hampton, Howard, FAMU, Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, Morgan State, whatever school you went to, Norfolk State. It's always a vibe, right? You get to see old classmates. You get to hear old music. It's just that feeling on the yard again. So I'm heading out there tonight to go to Hampton University, and it should be a lot of fun. They're doing restrictions, so I think it's only 50% capacity at the game. They're spreading out a lot of the stuff that they usually do on the yard, which is the campus. So I'm still excited, though. I love going back each and every year.
How did this Hampton alumni thing get over here in front of me?
What Hampton alumni?
Right here. I think you're supposed to put this in your car.
I put Hampton stuff all over the room just so people know when guests come, they know what school I went to.
Oh, I didn't even know you went to Hampton.
Yes, you did.
Well, shout out to everybody who took part in Black Entrepreneurs Day yesterday. That was amazing at the Apollo. It's going to air on the 14th so people can watch. But he did some live. Damon John.
Okay.
From Shark Tank and owner FUBU. Mm-hmm. He did some live interviews yesterday. Tyra Banks was there. I saw Michael Strahan. Mm-hmm. There was a situation, though. I was in the green room, and some guy made his way into the green room that wasn't supposed to be back there.
You need better security.
Well, it's not my security that he got backstage. It was at the Apollo.
And what happened?
And he told me he was Michael Strahan's nephew, but
I spoke to Michael Strahan yesterday, too. And what happened? So they threw him out, kicked him out?
Yeah, so everybody came running in there like, what are you doing here? And then he started going like, I'm Michael Strahan's nephew. I'm supposed to be here. You're going to get in trouble. I'm going to call him right now. Watch. Why y'all treating me like this? And then they ended up getting him out of there.
So he wasn't Michael Strahan's nephew?
No, he was not.
Wasn't really, huh?
Was he related to Michael Strahan in any way?
I don't believe so.
Did you see his teeth to verify?
Stop it.
Did he have a gap?
But he did DM me and say, hey, can I get that picture we took together?
Did he for real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I'm
going to send it.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's going to be his next thing. I'm Angela Yee's nephew.
Yeah, you're going to use that picture. Yeah,
I got a picture. Look.
I'm Yee's cousin. Wow, that's funny. We got some special guests joining us today, right?
Is it Taraji P. Henson and Tracy Jade?
Yep,
yeah. Because their Facebook show, Peace of Mind, starts back October 11th, I believe. And Tracy Jade will be at my Mental Wealth Expo this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Marriott Marquis Times Square in New York City. You know, it's a day of mental health education and healing. Okay. So she'll be there, and we'll talk about that as well.
All right. Well, let's get the show cracking. Front page news, what we talking about?
Well, let's talk about this shooting that happened. It was an Arlington school shooting, and people are discussing what the motivations are. They did arrest Timothy George Simpkins, who's 18 years old, and we'll give you the details we do know.
All right. We'll get into that when we come back. Get your ass up! It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Hey.
I just realized how possessive this record is.
What?
They said time heals, but don't go build a life without me. Like, Jesus Christ.
Wants his girl back.
Yeah, she gone now, buddy.
All right. Well, let's get into some front page news. Let's start with sports. All right. Now, Chicago Sky beat the Suns 79-69 WNBA. Also, the Aces beat the Mercury 93-76.
Let's go, Aces. Big Asia Wilson. Dropping the clues bombs for Asia Wilson. How much Asia had last night? We don't know the individual stats? Okay. Asia represents the 803 Columbia SC all day.
Now, Major League Baseball playoffs, the Dodgers beat the Cardinals 3-1. Now, in Thursday Night Football, the Rams take on the Seahawks at 8:20 Eastern Time. Now, what else we got, Yeezy?
All right. Well, in Arlington, Texas, which is a Dallas area, there was a Dallas area high school where an 18-year-old student opened fire during a fight. 4 people were injured. And he did flee the scene before being taken into custody hours later. Timothy George Simpkins is that 18-year-old student who was taken into custody without incident. He was booked on 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and was being held on $75,000 bail. One person is in critical condition. Another is in good condition. A third person was treated for minor abrasions. And they said a fourth person was hurt but did not require treatment at a hospital. So 3 of the 4 injured were students. And they are still investigating what happened, but there is a video of a fight in that classroom, and police do say that that fight is related to the shooting incident. It's not a random act of violence. It's not somebody attacking the school. According to a spokeswoman for Timothy George Simpkins' family, they said he had been bullied and robbed twice at school. The family spokeswoman, Carol Harrison Lafayette, said the decision he made taking a gun, we're not justifying that. That was not right, but he was trying to protect himself.
So that's a tough one, because you think about it, you're a kid, you get beat up. I'm sure he complained and nothing happened. He continued to get beat up and robbed, and you think about, okay, well, I want to protect myself. They come the next day, it's not right, but what happens in that case?
Very hard to very hard to judge people when they're in survival mode.
Correct.
Sounds like that young man was, he in his mind he was in survival mode.
He was bullied, getting robbed.
Now, a woman who identified herself as Simpkins' mother said he was bullied and declined to comment. Clint Wheat, who is his cousin, Sint Wheat, who wrote, "At the end of the day, my little cousin was bullied. I don't know how to feel about this. He's not no bad kid." And so...
that's a real emotion. You don't know how to feel about it. I mean, when you hear the story, you're like, damn, kid got to deal with the consequences of his actions, but you also understand, he was getting pushed to the ledge.
Now, police don't know how the shooter got a gun into the school. They said it's a .45 caliber handgun. It was found on the England Parkway. Federal authorities are seeking to determine whether that's what was used in the shooting.
Well, shouldn't stuff like that factor into the consequences of those actions, though? You know what I mean? You don't take a kid like that and throw him under the jail, right?
Forever. No. You definitely can't do that. But, it's a deeper problem. Is did this boy make a complaint? Was his complaints ignored?
Did y'all see the fight?
No.
Oh, y'all got to look at that footage of the fight.
They was jumping him or something?
It was just one-on-one, but it was vicious.
Oh, he was getting beat up bad?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Some kids are not fighters. Like, I have 5 kids, and all of my kids are not fighters. If they get into a situation or altercation, they're going to lose. I got a couple that can, but it's per kid. You beat this kid up, he wants to protect himself.
Also, when it comes to, trauma and looking at it from a psychological standpoint, you got to talk to the guy who was allegedly doing the bullying, too, right? Because he could push somebody else to snap like that as well, if he's a bully.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Bully, yeah.
Because he'll go do that to somebody else.
All right, well, we'll follow this story and keep updating you guys on what's happening as we get more details.
Jesus Christ, man. So much hurt, so much pain, so much trauma.
All right. Well,
deal with your trauma going to deal with you, people.
That was front page news. In Harlem last night on the way in, I seen that 2 kids was at a restaurant, and I think one was 16 and the other was 13. One got shot in the back, one got shot in the head. Both of them are going to survive. But it's just crazy what's going on right now, man.
People hurting, man.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up right now. Phone lines are wide open. Again, the number's 800-585-1051. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Wake up, wake up. Wake your ass.
This is your time to get it off your chest. Whether you're mad or blessed, we want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
Yo, what's going on? Y'all is Mello.
Mello.
Mello, peace, King.
What's the word? How y'all feeling?
Blessed, black, and highly favored.
I love that answer, man. Yo, Uncle Charles, I got a bone to pick with you, sir.
Pick my bone.
Whoa.
You see? This is why.
What?
Whoa.
What? You said you got a bone to pick with me. I said pick my bone.
You starting too early, brother.
You see, always, man. How come you always out here flirting with these men on this radio station?
Mello, you said you
question.
had a bone to pick with me, so I said pick my bone. What is the problem?
That was literally the question. Because
that was the
I was
question.
listening to this, not too long ago. You out here telling a young man, yo, you want to pitch my tent? Like, we know what that means. Like,
I did not say that.
I did hear that.
That's not what I said.
Mello.
What I asked him was he pitching a tent? That's what I said.
And he didn't even know what it meant.
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's
He was camping.
It's like you laying there, you ain't got no clothes on.
Wow.
In the morning with men, you're under the blanket. I think.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about at all.
This is very descriptive.
Nah, that's not what I was talking about. The guy that I was talking to was camping. He called up here on a camping trip. I don't know what you talking about, Mello. Your mind is in the gutter, King.
No, he told him. You was like, you laying there naked, and you was like, no, you hang up. And he was like, no, you hang up. I remember it.
Mello,
I think you're flirting with him.
it sounded like you wanted to pick his bone, bro, the way you talking right now.
No, I'm asking you a question as to why you out here flirting with these men on this radio station.
You jealous? Are you jealous?
Nah.
Are you jealous?
Took you a minute to answer that, man.
Yeah, word is born. You
Took you a minute
hesitated
to
a
answer
little
that,
bit.
Mello.
You had to think about that one, King.
You know my service is nervous. My service been nervous for the 8
Oh, now it's nervous?
on this radio station.
I don't know what service you selling, but I don't do prostitution.
My service
Okay,
is
I don't want none of your service.
All right, man.
All right.
Mello, we gotta let you go now. Mello's kind of flirtatious with you this morning. Kind of jealous. Hello, who's this?
Yeah, hey, Envy, this is Anonymous.
It's the radio, Anonymous. You can make up a name.
You could have made up any name you want, but we'll rock with you. What's up? Get it off your chest.
Where are you? You not there?
I'm here.
It sounds like Trav.
Hey, what's up, Trav?
How are you? What's up, Charlamagne?
Peace, sis.
Trav, we know it's you.
First of all, oh my goodness, I'm Anonymous.
Okay.
All right, go.
Talk to us, Anonymous.
Talk to us, Anonymous.
Trav.
I have a confession.
Go.
Uh-oh.
So, I was dating this guy, and I called him about to go cheat on me, and he had bought this new car, and I had messed his car up.
Trav, what's wrong with you, man? What kind of car was it first?
I'm not Trav.
What kind of car was it,
You
Trav?
wait, what did you
Not
do to his
Trav.
car?
Okay, you're right. What kind of car was this, sir?
You know what? I don't even want to talk about it no more.
No. What kind of car was this?
What'd you
What
do
did
to
you do?
Yeah, what'd you do to the car, Trav?
It's not Trav.
I mean,
This
Anonymous.
was years ago, but I know he listened. That's what his basic confession. And this is like a 2000 and this is like a while ago. This is like a 2014 Honda.
That wasn't that long ago, sir.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was a long. 7
You
years
want to
ago.
apologize to him?
He said that I apologize. We talk now, so I just told him the other day. So now he's back to be mad at me again.
But he already kind of knew you did it. Why'd you mess up his car? What happened?
He was about to cheat on him, he said.
I literally called him about to go cheat on me.
How do you catch somebody about to cheat? They was in the house
Because I
or...
went through his phone. I should have just left. I was young and dumb.
Okay, well, Anonymous, I'm disgusted that you was ever that whipped. Okay, out here acting like a bottom. I thought you was a power top.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, Trav. Anonymous. Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. This is your time to get it off your chest, whether you're mad or blessed.
So you better have the same energy.
We want to hear from you on The Breakfast Club.
Hello, who's this?
Hey, my name is Bridget.
Hey, Bridget. Get it off your chest.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Bridget.
Hey, how are you doing this morning?
Blessed, black, and highly favored. What's happening?
I know that's right. So, DJ Gibby, you went to HU?
Hampton University. Yes, the real HU. Good morning.
So you know all about the Newport News shipyard?
What's going on with Newport News?
So I was called a effing N-word by a higher up, and they refused to do anything about it.
Really? Well, how would I know about that? Was it on the news? I didn't hear anything about it.
No. So I've reported it over and over. This happened August the 19th, and I did the proper channels to report everything, and they're still not doing nothing about it. So my next step to them is to go to EEOC and to go to Wavy 10, because at this point, I'm tired.
And as you should. If he called you the N-word, you goddamn right.
He called me a dumbass first, then an effing D-I-T-C-H, and then a effing excuse me, sorry.
Whoa.
What you say back? You ain't say nothing back?
And when he said the part, I couldn't say nothing back. I was like,
I don't understand what be wrong with y'all mouth when somebody call y'all the N-word. You don't know how to pronounce cracker?
You know what? I couldn't even say, like, it caught me off guard. I've never been called nothing like that. So, to me, like, I'm a female. I've been called plenty of B-words growing up, you know? But that N-word, it caught me off guard.
No, I get it. It happens.
Well, I'm sorry for you, Mama. Yeah, but you should take it as high up as you need to make sure that person's out of there.
I done went to the vice president of trade. I done contacted the vice president of the company. Nobody's doing nothing.
Wow.
I mean, it is Virginia.
And this ain't the first time.
It is Virginia.
And they like, he called you the N-word. Why you ain't say hello back? That's probably what they thinking in their mind.
Well, two months prior, he called a Hispanic a
What?
Only thing they do to him is move him around. He's been doing this for years, and people have been covering for him. So I'm trying to bring as much light to the situation as possible. Because it makes no sense.
He should get his ass whooped. That's what it seemed like.
And why you don't take it to social media? I mean, that's what we see a lot of these random acts of racism go viral and then, something is done. Why you don't say something on social media?
I did, and whenever I tagged the shipyard in it, my post got blocked. So right now, I'm blocked off Facebook for 7 days, and in 2 more days, I'll be back on and going off on my rant.
All right, well, good luck, Mama. Keep us posted, okay?
Definitely sending you healing energy, Queen.
Hello, who's this?
Good morning, Sylvester, Angela, Envy, Charlamagne. How y'all doing?
Good
Please,
morning.
King. How are you?
Get it off your chest.
Man, I need y'all help. A brother in my city in California, Norwalk, got shot by the police, Frederick Holder. And what the situation was is that they said that a gun. Come to find out after the fact, all the brother had was a lighter. And they shot this man, killed him. And nobody's talking about it. And right now in LA, we got a rampant share of gang issues. So, everyone listens to this call right now. Google LSD gang. It's going to show you everything that's going on. But I was wondering if y'all could help connect some type of resources to the family or some way to get this story out, because I feel like this should be bigger.
Where is it at?
In Norwalk, California.
Okay.
Norwalk, California. Yeah, they said that they said he had a gun on him.
What's his name? Is there a news story on it that we could find?
Yeah, Frederick Holder.
Frederick Holder. Okay, I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, and it's like it's not getting any type of answers, and they had no body cam footage on the whole thing. I guess out of the whole department, it just so happened to be that 3 of the sheriffs that were on that scene, nobody had a body cam.
Wow.
So.
All right. Well, you putting the story out there. Hopefully people Google it, and we'll definitely look into it as well, brother.
Yeah, I see the story of it right now.
And you should definitely hit Big Boy, too, on the West Coast, because he's close on that coast.
Hell yeah.
We'll definitely look it up, brother.
He was shot and killed on June 23rd.
Most definitely. Google LSD gang. Appreciate y'all.
Ooh, they didn't even inform the family till a week after the shooting.
He's sending you healing energy,
And
King.
the item was a butane lighter. That's it.
You know what's crazy, though, man? Think about those last 2 calls. You got a young lady in Virginia who got called the N-word. That brother right there saying how the police, killed his man. But listen how normal they sound as they're having their conversation. Because a lot of times that is our normal. You know what I mean? When you're a black person in this country. That's sad, man.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. Now, we got rumors on the way?
Yes, Ray J, it looks like he has filed for divorce. This is the 3rd time the couple has filed to end things. We'll tell you what's going on.
All right, we'll get to that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
It's about time.
What's going on?
Rumor report. This is the Rumor Report
Talk to him.
with Angela Yee on The Breakfast Club.
All right, well, Ray J has filed for divorce from Princess Love. Yesterday, we were telling you how he's been hospitalized with pneumonia by himself. And they said for 2 days, doctors were worried that he was dealing with COVID. They even had him in the COVID ward, but he just has pneumonia. So they tried to pass things up a couple of times. This is the 3rd time that one of them has filed for divorce. And now he's filing. Well, I don't know. In the hospital by himself. I don't know what's going on right now.
Well, he couldn't have people there, right?
Right.
Right, yeah. So it's not like he's by himself because then nobody wanted to see him. He just couldn't have guests.
I know, but I don't know what's sometimes you're by yourself, you're going through this, and it's making you reevaluate things. Who knows what's happening?
I send Ray J and Princess Love healing energy. I mean,
they have 2 beautiful children.
Yeah, when you see somebody attempt to get divorced 3 times, who knows what this one to go through?
Right.
All right, now Tamar Braxton said that she is planning to return to television, but she's not going to go back to that network that she was on before for Braxton Family Values on WeTV.
How many of y'all miss Braxton Family Values? What if I told you Braxton Family Values was coming back? Not on no foolish network, I can tell you that. Because the truth is, the true depiction of a black American family is not a bunch of foolishness. And the other part of the truth is, I ain't finna let the devil use me like that for people's entertainment.
I didn't watch the Braxtons that much. I don't remember seeing a lot of foolishness on there.
Values.
Compared to other reality shows.
No, it wasn't as much as other shows. But I mean, I love the fact, hopefully they could get it together and do it where they executive produce, so they decide what goes on there and what doesn't. A lot of times these networks will, they want to put the foolishness because they feel like the foolishness sells, but they don't understand this is somebody's family. And same thing with my family when they try to add foolishness. No, this is I'm good. I'm secure. My bread is all right. I don't have to do it. You're not gonna put foolishness there to make my family look crazy. No.
Well, TMZ did catch up with her, and here's what she had to say.
So here's the thing. Everybody think I declared war against a network, right? It's sort of, but not really. But the truth is like, I just wanted, my family to be depicted the right way.
Right.
I feel like the responsibility is mainly on me. So, like, as creating a show, I want to have full control.
There you go.
All right, full control makes sense. And since we're talking about TV, let's discuss Ava DuVernay. She has announced 2 upcoming female-led superhero series. I saw this on Jasmine Brand. And so, the adaptations of Naomi and DMZ. DC fans, are you excited? Oh, none in here?
You know, I'm a Marvel guy.
I know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. Well, they said both series are going to stream on HBO Max and air on the CW. She's also directing a film adaptation of DC's New Gods. So it looks like she's really working in tandem with DC for their cinematic universe.
Yeah, I mean, Ava's probably the only person who could make me watch a DC property.
Now, Naomi will be the main character, depicted as a black teenage girl in the comics, and they have not announced who the star of that will be. And the DMZ series is a 4-part drama that is set in the near future when America is embroiled in civil war. The lead for that will be Rosario Dawson.
I do like DC's villain movies, though. I love the Harley Quinn and the Joker.
All right, well, there's something. Power Book 2, Ghost, Lorenz Tate has been up to a series regular for season 2, so congratulations to him. He plays New York City Councilman Rashad Tate, so he lost the New York race to be governor, but he is, I guess, in this new season, not going to feel sorry for himself, and he loves the power that he had a taste of for a while, so we'll see what he's willing to do to sacrifice for his seat at the table. So I'm excited for that. And Tina Turner, she has reportedly sold part of her music rights to BMG. She got $50 million for that. So she also sold her music rights along with the rights to her image, name, and likeness.
I don't know why I felt like that was low for Tina Turner.
I don't know if it's the full.
It might not be full catalog. It might be a percentage.
Mm-hmm. And look, $50 million for her to use right now to do whatever it is that she needs to do. I mean,
yeah, she might be investing. You don't know what she's doing, but it's only a percentage. They said it's not.
It just felt like for Tina Turner's catalog that was low. I don't know what. I don't know what.
It could be 30%. It could be 20%. It could be 40%. We don't know the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Pharrell has said that he is not going to bring back his Something in the Water festival to Virginia Beach next year. After his cousin was killed in an officer-involved shooting last March, he doesn't feel like that's the right place for it. He wrote a letter to the Virginia Beach city manager and outlined his reasons for canceling. He's saying the festival helped ease racial tensions, it promoted economic growth for the city, and it unified the area. But he didn't feel like he was getting that love in return. He said, I love my city, but for far too long it has been run by and with toxic energy. The toxic energy that changed the narrative several times around the homicide of my cousin, Donovan Lynch, a citizen of Virginia, is the same toxic energy that changed the narrative around the mass murder and senseless loss of life at Building Number 2. I wish the same energy I felt from Virginia Beach leadership upon losing the festival would have been similarly channeled following the loss of my relative's life.
And that festival brought a lot to the city. It brought a lot of money to the city. It brought a lot of people to the city. It brought people together, like he said. But, Virginia Beach and the whole, that whole area has been dealing with a lot of racism for a long time. So he's absolutely positively right.
He said, until the gatekeepers and the powers that be consider the citizens and the consumer base and no longer view the idea of human rights for all as a controversial idea, I don't have any problems with the city, but I realize the city hasn't valued my proposed solutions either.
I love that line. That's true. It's like, why is human rights for all considered remotely controversial? Like Black Lives Matter shouldn't be considered remotely controversial if you actually care about human life.
All right, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your Rumor Report.
All right, thank you, Miss Yee. Now we got front page news next. What are we talking about?
Yes, Texas. They have appealed the district court judge's ruling. They have issued an emergency injunction on the state's restrictive abortion law.
All right, we'll get into that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same.
Our audible pick of the day is Founding FUBU by Damon John. The trailblazer of hip-hop fashion started his revolutionary clothing line in his mom's house. Hear how he did it in this inspiring memoir. Sign up for a free 30-day Audible trial at audible.com/breakfast club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club.
What's happening?
Let's get in some front page news. Now, Major League Baseball playoffs, the Dodgers beat the Cardinals last night 3-1. WNBA, the Chicago Sky beat the Suns 79-69, and the Aces beat Mercury 93-76.
Dropping the clues bounce for the Las Vegas Aces. I already told y'all I root for the Aces because of Asia Wilson, baby. South Carolina all day. 803 Metro was happening.
Now, also in Thursday night football, the Seahawks take on the Rams tonight at 8:20 Eastern. What else we got, Yeezy?
All right. Well, a federal judge has issued a temporary injunction, and this happened last night, barring the enforcement of Texas's controversial new abortion law. Under this law, private citizens can sue someone if they reasonably believe they provided an illegal abortion or assisted someone in getting it in the state. That means even an Uber driver. And so Texas attorneys said in court they had no clear way of knowing how they would even enforce this injunction, as the law is crafted to prevent any state official other than judges from being responsible for enforcement. So they also did deny Texas's request to put a pause on his ruling while the state appealed it. So according to the statement, tonight's ruling is an important step forward toward restoring the constitutional rights of women across the state of Texas. This not only blatantly violates the right to safe and legal abortion established under Roe v. Wade, but it creates a scheme to allow private citizens to interfere with that right and to evade judicial review.
Yeah, we got to see how that appeal goes, though, because, on appeal, the state of Texas, it is Texas, so they're likely to win that appeal.
And they said that it's been really difficult because people have been having to travel hundreds and thousands of miles to go to other places, and it's been putting a strain on other facilities that's near Texas since people haven't been able to get these services provided in Texas. All right, now, heartbreaking story here. And Dayton police officers, there's body camera footage that shows the interaction between Dayton police officers and a paraplegic man. He would not exit his vehicle, he's paraplegic, during a traffic stop, and they did yank him from the car and onto the road. Now, Clifford Owensby is the man who was pulled from his vehicle during this traffic stop, and he told the news that he felt helpless as officers put him on the ground. Here's the beginning of this interaction.
What's your name again? Clifford Owensby. Undo your seatbelt for me. Have you step out the car? Yeah, I'm having you step out the car.
I can't step out the car, sir.
I'm a paraplegic.
I got help getting in.
Well, I'll help you get out.
I don't think that's gonna happen, sir.
Well, I do, because I'm asking you, but I'm telling you. So it's not an option.
Can I ask you what's the problem?
Yeah, the problem is that because of your history, I might have a dog do a free air around the car. You have to be out of the car.
I can't get out of the vehicle, sir.
Is that legal because of your history? I can check around this car. Is that legal?
I don't know, but forget all that. The man is a paraplegic, and the police officer was ignoring the fact that he was a paraplegic. Like, I know police officers get told a lot of different lies, but you got to believe that person when that person tells you that, right? You can't just assume the person is lying.
I'm sure there was things in the car that told him he was a paraplegic. I'm sure, man.
And he was also very polite.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
If somebody says, I'm paraplegic, I can't get out of the car, he was polite about it. Then you have to find an alternative way to do whatever it is that you need to do. Now, he does not have use of his legs. He said he was injured during this incident because he was basically yanked from the car onto the road. He was pulled from his vehicle. Here's how things escalated.
Can you call your white shirt, please?
I will.
If you pull me out of here, you better expect.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna pull you out, and then I'll call a white shirt because you're getting out of the car. That's not an option. You're getting out of this car, so you can cooperate and get out of the car, or I will drag you out of the car. You see your
You're
two
gonna have
options
to.
here?
I would like for you to call your white shirt.
I will when I'm done. Get out of the car.
Come on, bro.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Bro.
Get out of the car.
It hurt me, bro.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
What are y'all doing, bro?
That's crazy.
Get out. You have to get out of the car.
Ow!
Get out of the car.
Somebody help!
The cop simply didn't believe him, and that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the cop just simply did not believe that the brother was a paraplegic, and I wonder at what point did the cop realize, oh, shoot, he really is a paraplegic.
Now, a bystander did film this from across the street. He also called family members and friends to come and film because he knew it was about to go down. So
Where was that at?
This is in Dayton.
Man, I hope that brother get all the money. All the money. Like, where?
Man, that broke my heart listening to him being like...
That's crazy.
I mean, the only thing they could do is pay him now. They definitely not going to issue an apology. Have they even issued an apology yet?
I mean, listen, the Dayton city manager, Shelley Dickstein, issued a statement. As in any situation where a city employee's actions are in question, we commit to completing a thorough review to ensure that we are held accountable to the public. It is our goal to not only maintain high standards and expectations now, but continuously improve to meet and exceed the future expectations.
I know we all got eyes and ears, and we all looking at the same. Yeah, I know we got eyes and ears, and we all looking at the same video and hearing the same thing, but we got to review.
Now, the Dayton police said, we ask the public to please be patient while all of the facts are gathered so we may have a clear understanding of what occurred and why in order to make informed decisions and continue to improve services.
I know you're not supposed to believe, you're only supposed to believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, but I mean, come on. Look, that was very cut and dry.
That's crazy.
And they're saying this was part of a drug investigation and a traffic stop, and they said there were no drugs, no firearms in the vehicle, but they did recover $22,450. But so what?
He got money.
Was the man paraplegic or not?
Right. That's really what it comes down to. We don't care what happened, what was found. He was not combative.
But what I don't understand
is he told you he was paraplegic.
How do you, this is what I'm confused about. Because of my previous record, you pulled me over for nothing and you could just search my car? Because it didn't say, they just said it was a random stop. Okay, well, traffic you had a previous record, so we can search your car. I've never heard of that before. That is crazy. So I served my time. I did what I was supposed to do. I paid my fines, but you could still search my car and go through my record?
Yeah, that's crazy, but that's not as crazy as the guy being a paraplegic.
It's both crazy.
And the cop not believing.
Well, I think they had a narcotics canine. And so
I don't even care about that.
I mean, Emmy was asking those questions. I'm just explaining why they may have been.
I get it, because that's what they're going to use to try to justify him treating that brother like that. But no,
he served his time.
Like, was a paraplegic.
Like yesterday, I got pulled over because he said that there was a lot of cars stolen in the area.
You get pulled over like every day.
Yeah, I know, right? He said there was a lot of stolen cars, nice stolen cars in the area. And he wanted to make sure because I look suspicious. Now I was wondering what looks.
He said you look suspicious.
Yeah, I was wondering what looks suspicious about me.
You're definitely your bid.
You look harmless.
No, it's the drawn on bid.
No,
it's absolutely the drawn on bid.
No, it's the fact that I was black driving a Ferrari. That's what it was.
It ain't that.
No, that's
what
it
was,
was,
bro.
Because there was no other reason. There was no other reason. If I was an older white guy, if I was a white guy in a Ferrari, would he have pulled me over? Would have been suspicious, or would have been like, oh, that the white people live in this area, so we don't need to pull them over. It was just weird.
With that fake bid, yes.
F you, man.
All right, well, that is your front page news.
F you.
Yes. And I believe y'all be having meetings. I believe people be seeing you pulled over on the side of the road, and that's your excuse all the time. You
get pulled over a lot, though. I'm not going to lie. Every time we have a story, you're like, well, I got pulled over this morning.
I got pulled over yesterday. I got pulled over 2 days ago. I get pulled over all the time. Same thing, license registration. All right, and I never get a ticket because I'm never doing anything wrong.
So you never ran a stop sign, red light,
I never did nothing wrong at all. Nothing wrong at all.
It ain't the car's pay job, it's your bid.
Yo, shut up,
It's your bid's pay job.
Yo, shut up. All right, now, when we come back, we have some special guests joining us. We have Tracy Jade and Taraji P. Henson. Now, their show is back, Peace of Mind with Taraji on Facebook Watch. So we're
October 11th, it starts back.
We're going to talk to them when we come back, so don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got some special guests on the line.
Yes, indeed.
We have Taraji P. Henson and the birthday girl, Tracy J.
Hey, happy born day, Queen Tracy.
Thank you, guys.
What are you doing for your birthday, first and foremost? Because the pandemic is pretty much a little over, so you can go outside now. So what are you doing for your birthday?
I'm happy with the staying inside part.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I got
that.
I'm happy with
We got plans. No one's staying inside.
Yeah, Tracy, you got to go somewhere with that hair looking as good as it does right now.
Come on, right?
Oh, you noticed something?
I was like, your hair looks
You've been getting so many compliments. That's the look right there.
I think we may have found something for the moment.
Girl. You're going to keep it for about 2 weeks and then it'll be something else.
Over it.
How are y'all, though? How are the both of y'all?
Great.
Good. How you guys doing? Shar, I see you with the mental wealth piece coming on up. I'm excited to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, this Sunday, World Mental Health Day. We're doing it at the Marriott Marquis Times Square from 11 to 4. A day of mental health education and healing. Tracy will be speaking on the Black Women's Panel. We're happy to have you, Tracy. Thank you very much.
And congrats on the show.
Thank you, Queen. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. And y'all coming back on Monday, October 11th with Peace of Mind.
Yes. Yes, we got to continue helping us all heal, you know.
For people that don't know about it, break down what it is, and so people will understand.
Peace of Mind is a talk show where we address different issues dealing with mental health, where we will interview a celebrity because, you know, fans think that just because we are celebrities and we have money, somehow all of our problems go away. So we show them that, yes, everyone is struggling. You are not alone, even celebrities. Then we interview a regular person, everyday civilian, who is suffering with the same maybe mental condition, whether it's social anxiety, whether it's depression, whether it's ADHD. We all have something, right? And so then we have the third segment of the show is where we bring a professional in, a psychiatrist, a clinician, a therapist, to help us understand the topic we're talking about, to give us tools to know what to do when we are feeling the way, or those who may be suffering or can identify with the subject matter that we're dealing with. So it's an educational show. It's a show where we laugh, we cry, and we're also trying to show that actually this is what a therapy session looks like. You know, you in a safe space, you talk about the things that are bugging you or that are keeping you down, and you have a professional there to help guide you through it. And you laugh, you cry, and it's really not as scary as you think.
Absolutely.
I see some fascinating guests that you guys have on. I saw the trailer for the new season, and I was just in my head trying to figure out, like, Chloe Bailey. I can imagine it's tough for her. You know, her and her sister have separated their Instagram pages. She's put out some amazing music and videos, but then at the same time, all these people are coming at her now because they're still picturing what she was like when she was younger. And so I know things like that have to be difficult. And sometimes people don't look at artists as human beings that have feelings too.
That part. And I think that's another aspect of this show where they get to see some of their favorites be human, because that's what we are at the end of the day. Millions just happen to get to see us go to work and see what we do. But at the end of the day, we have feelings. It's a real person behind all of the flashing lights.
How therapeutic has the show been for you both?
For us, it's like we're going to therapy every day. So it's been such a gift in that way, where I don't have to go to my therapist as often as I used to, because the show has sort of filled in that space for me. So to be able to talk about your own personal challenges, connect with others there who might have the same challenges with you, and then have somebody there to stop all of our bantering back and forth and say, okay, that's nice. I hear you. You want to help each other, but here are the tools you need. And Taraji and I have been going through this for 38 years, having these conversations. And sometimes what we have to say is helpful to each other, and sometimes it might not be. So to be able to step back and say, you my boo, and we got each other, but let me go over here and talk to, my therapist. She's gonna have a more objective point of view.
I think it's so
important.
It's
been really good.
I think it's also important right now in particular for people to have empathy towards others, because everyone is going through so much and we have no idea what's happening in other people's lives. And sometimes you just have to step back and take it out of, okay, this isn't something personal against me. This person might be going through something on their own. And so I do feel like things like this are really helpful, because I've seen people just not acting like themselves. And you have to not take it personally at times and be like, okay, let me be a little bit empathetic and see what's happening in this person's life. So is that something you've had to do with people around you?
As you delve into these different episodes, everyone can identify with someone that has the same characteristics of someone that might be suffering with the subject matter we deal with, like ADHD or whatever, or social anxiety. Someone might be, oh, that's why Bob doesn't ever go out. I understand. See, and so the more we understand human and human nature, the more empathy we develop, right? When you can understand someone acting out in traffic, or cutting you off, stop making everything about you. Maybe that person just found out somebody died in their family and they're just not there. But, until you deal with what is going on inside of you and your traumas, you're always going to be ready to pop off, and you won't have space for grace because you're not giving yourself any grace.
Right. You know, I was going to ask, how difficult is it to get some of these people that you're interviewing to open up? Is it very difficult? Because a lot of times some of these people never spoke to a therapist before, so you guys might be the first time that they're really opening up. So is that difficult?
No, we have a lot of guests come on and they talk about how comfortable they feel because we are both in therapy. We're not professionals, but we understand us. We understand our culture. We understand our people. And we know in order for any Black person to open up to anybody, they have to feel safe and they have to know who they talking to is real. It's not like you're not fake. You don't have no other objective. We're not a show where we're baiting for numbers. We don't push people to tears or things like everything on our show pretty much happens organically. We, of course, set the questions up. We make them feel very safe and they just open up because we're opening up, you know? Yeah.
All right, we got more with Tracy Jade and Taraji P. Henson when we come back. Don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Tracy Jade and Taraji P. Henson. We're talking mental health this morning. Now, I was just wondering, with everything going on in the world, is there ever a fear that people are using mental health as an excuse? Because they can say, hey, I wasn't mentally right, meaning they just lied. Or I wasn't mentally in my right place, meaning they just, just wanted to do something. Are y'all ever nervous about that at all?
I'm not, because people have been trying to do that forever. People try to beat murder cases. I was crazy. I lost my mind for a split second, So again, you can see through that. They're professionals. That's why they have these therapists and psychiatrists who will evaluate people to see if they're telling the truth.
Now, another aspect.
Less of that too, because people will be educated now. So we know what we're looking at. You can't just run a game on people the way you used to, because now people are like, ADHD, I thought that was, these symptoms, or bipolar, I thought that was that. So it's not so easy to just throw these terms around and have people believe whatever you say about it.
And see, before when we didn't talk about it as much, you could, because nobody knew. They were like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's what I was going to ask y'all. Don't y'all think because so many people are having the conversation about their different mental health issues now, that is creating more safe spaces for more people to talk and have these conversations and admit that there's something wrong?
Absolutely. I'm seeing more people come to the forefront and share. And I think it's because finally they don't feel alone. It's not a big secret anymore. It's not anything to be ashamed of, because again, your brain operates and functions your entire body. So to neglect it is neglecting everything else.
Now, when it comes to something topical, we were discussing this, right? How social media has been affecting people. I'm sure you guys have been watching what's been happening in the news. How often would you say social media comes up in these conversations?
A lot. Yeah. It's a way of life now. People were so thrown and shook because Instagram was shut down. I forgot it was back up. I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, it ain't working. Okay, it gave me a reason to click off, I didn't mind it. But again, I wasn't raised on it. It's not in my DNA. It's something I had to learn because of what I do for a living, because I know when I'm on it too much, it affects me. And I'm a grown woman. Grown woman.
What are some things you would advise? What are some things you would advise the younger generation then, when it comes to making sure that they stay mentally strong when it comes to social media?
Go for a walk and put the phone down. Sometimes, like, put that in your schedule. Like, for this hour, give yourself time. Put yourself on the schedule. Like, I'm going to do social media for this amount of time, this day, and stick to it. Hold yourself to it. Go for it. Read a book. Read a book instead of scrolling. I don't know.
Yeah, good luck with that. Lord help us with that part. But I would also say that, if we're honest, the kids are not just going to hop off social media.
No, they're not.
Whatever. It's an addiction at this point. So if we can flip it and have them be addicted to the good piece of this, right? And ask themselves the question, every time you scroll past something that feels bad in your body, like it makes you feel sad or angry or whatever, self-critical, ask yourself what else could be true.
Ooh.
So you see that terrible thing, stop one moment and ask yourself, what else could be true? I could be beautiful. You know, I could be intelligent, I could be strong, I could be powerful, as opposed to, you know, all of those terrible ads that they're running and all this terrible violence that they see. What else could be true? I see a community that's going to thrive. I see a community that's going to be, let me go do my part.
Mm-hmm.
So I just give them some tools to move out of those spaces that locks them in, you know.
Or I would say if something triggers you, put the phone down.
Mm-hmm.
Don't abuse yourself. Look, we can spin on this. It's a monster that is out of our control.
That's right. And we're all in we're all in verbally abusive relationships with our smartphones at this point.
I mean, you know, because I could be having a great day and I know better. Again, I'm grown, right? I know better than to read the comments. But I do it sometimes. You know what I mean? I'll go, just part of me just wants to go.
That's like addiction. You know,
it's definitely an addiction.
Whatever, but you don't do it, you're addicted.
Right.
So it's working the addiction part, the behavior. Shut up, Char. What you laughing at?
No, it's true though, because it's like we're all in verbally abusive relationships with our smartphones. Like we know it's a lot of negativity there, but we cannot help but go indulge in it. It's wild.
Yeah, we got to get to the behavior part. We know, right? We got to get to what is leading us to having to pick up the damn phone and see the thing, say something horrible to me today. What's leading me to that? There's something in there.
It's just human nature. You're all, as humans, we are so jaded that we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Always. That's how we move through life, especially Black people.
I wanted to ask you, Tracy, because, you know, you've been watching your sister Taraji go through it as a star for years, and you know the BS that comes with fame. So how has it been giving up some of your peace by being in front of the camera?
I don't think that I'm so happy that I got to therapy before, you know, all this happened, right? Because I understand what, you know, smoke and mirrors look like. Mm-hmm. I understand what's real and what ain't. I know the camera shuts off at, you know, 5:00 and I got to go back to my life as it was. I never leave my life. I'm constantly practicing to be in the present, Char, and you know about that. Because if I get too far ahead, I'm thinking about all the horrible things that can happen, or I'm behind the thought, all the things that happened 5 minutes ago that were horrible. So my present is so effed up. I just try to stay in gratitude, you know. All that other fame and blah, 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 that never, ever meant anything to me, especially watching my BFF go through this last 25 years of it. I'm like, yeah, okay. Are we healthy?
You know, I could give a about fame.
Oh, it's early in the morning.
I'm sorry.
Now, when it comes
to that was so visceral, that just flew out of my, I didn't even have a chance to catch it.
But you super famous though, Taraji. So how do you still stay grounded?
I know, but I don't work for that. That's not what I work for. I don't work to be famous. That's empty to me. God has given me the mic. I know so many talented people that are not in this position. So I'm very clear on why I was chosen. I understand the assignment. So I don't work for trophies. I don't work for accolades. I work because I'm an artist in my core. So, you know, I'm looking for material that's going to challenge me and change me and transform me, because in my transformation, the audience or somebody out there will be transformed. You know, I'm an artist, so I don't work. You talking to a kid. I was a kid, me and Tracy doing, I'm sorry. I get passionate.
Good morning.
Doing theater, doing street theater out in the street, you know. That's what we would do, because that's how committed I am to this thing called acting, this craft. I love it. It's in my DNA. So I don't work. That fame thing gives me anxiety. That's the part that will keep me in my house for 3 days, because I just want to go get bananas. I don't want to be judged because I didn't have this on and I didn't. I'm just buying bananas. I'm just trying to go get groceries for my school. But I'm going to be judged on my appearance. You know, it's so much. So, yeah, that part is not what I do this for.
All right, we got more with Tracy Jade and Taraji P. Henson when we come back. Don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We're still kicking it with Tracy Jade and Taraji P. Henson. Now, Yee?
Now, when it comes to resources, you guys also do point people in the right direction, right? As far as...
Oh, yes, absolutely. We always on the show have a segment and we say, if you're struggling, please go to the BorisLHenson.org Foundation to get help. We have therapists, clinicians, psychiatrists on set in case someone goes too far and they need help right away. For us, for anybody that gets triggered, because a lot of times the crew get triggered by the subject matter we're dealing with.
And so do we.
Absolutely.
We'll get right in the middle of a conversation and be like, I feel the thing. It's rising. I'm sweating that could be menopause too. But I feel the anxiety happening, and we just we go with it because we have the tools. But I imagine people at home who don't know what the hell to do once they hear or see something. So we definitely need to direct them to the sources, BorisLHensonFoundation.org. And there's so many other amazing organizations out there, Black Therapy for girls, for men. So jump in there, do your research, and get help. It's okay.
And y'all have the free virtual therapy program too through the Boris P. Henson Foundation, right?
Yes, and we're also giving out scholarships to children of color seeking to, study in the field of mental health. So, because we need more of us.
And how can people get more information about that? Do you have the site?
Yes, Tracy, take it away.
BorisLHensonFoundation.org. You go on, you can click on resources. It's really easy to navigate. If you need a therapist, click on free therapy or our directory, and you can get some culturally competent therapists because we know we need that much soon. We're here for you. We get it. We get that folk need the support. So we're offering that. Take advantage of it.
Now, when we're talking about this new season of Peace of Mind, right, where there's some moments that you guys were like shocked by as well, because I'm sure, like you said, people are comfortable. They're coming in there knowing you're not trying to get an aha moment, but you have some amazing guests this season. So were there times that you were like, I can't believe this is happening?
G Herbo sticks out in my mind. That young man, please watch the show. Watch his episode. I hope so many young brothers watch that episode because I'll never forget this. My son, loves rap music, of course. And when he started really getting into it, he was listening to the rappers coming out of Chicago. And I told G Herbo that, just listening to his experience growing up around all that violence. And he said, Mom, the rappers in Chicago rap from a different sphere. Like, I feel their pain. I be pounding my chest because I can feel their pain. He said, and the sad part about it is that they're really superstars, but because of what they've been going through, they'll probably never reach that success because of their environment. And this kid had never been to Chicago at this point. I wasn't filming Cookie. This is what he felt through the music, through the messages. And then when I really sat down and got to know G Herbo, I understood exactly what my son meant by that. Thank God G Herbo made it out. But he talks about all the people. He said he could name, Tracy, about 100 of his colleagues that he know that has died.
Yeah. It's troubling because his story is the norm for our kids.
That part.
So I'm watching New York right now, where they had the 21 kids under 18 who died by gun violence.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn and all over. And that blueprint is traveling through every one of our cities right now. And it's scary as hell.
Because they don't care. I heard G Herbo said out of his mouth, there was a point in his life where he didn't care if he lived or died. You're talking about children who have their whole lives to look forward to, not giving a shit about anything.
I love G Herbo because he's 25 years old, man, and I wish that I had the tools and the resources and the information in regard to mental health at that young age. So I love the fact that he's so vocal about what he goes through.
I love it too. I have such a respect for that young man. Like that to me was my most special episode because I have a love for Black men just so deep because I just understand our struggles as a people and what is put upon the Black man and what you gotta always got to be strong and this and that and the third. And because I have a son, I'm a mother, you know. And just, I saw so many men in my life that I love in this young man, my father, my son, all the men I love, I chose to love. That episode is so important. He's so important.
Yeah. And I think if we all, you know, those of us who are in a position to, if we all just took one young man, you see them walking down to the corner store, you see them not, you know, showing up places to the job interview, whatever. If we could all just take one, and I know that sounds really like, I don't know, you know, a thought that is impossible. Like I don't have time or I'm scared or whatever it is. But I am looking in the eyes right now of a young man that I love so deeply, and he's in the middle of this stuff. And he may be watching right now or not, but I love him so deeply. I'm willing to do anything to offer him just a moment of an opportunity. I don't know what he's missing. I don't know what his heart. He just lost his best friend. His best friend was murdered 3 nights ago. And I know he's suffering. He's young. He's a teenager. And I can't give up on him. He's out in the streets. He's confused. The goddamn weed is going crazy. You know what it is. They get hooked, all that crazy stuff. But I will not
This
give
weed
up.
is something different. This weed ain't no herb. Right. This ain't no herb.
It ain't from the
This
earth.
ain't no reaper.
Yeah, it ain't from the
This
earth.
ain't no reaper. You know, I don't know what they doing with this, but it ain't right.
It's messing our babies up, man. Pay attention to the weed.
They're telling us you guys have to rap because you
don't even smell the same. You know what? We need to change the narrative. Where are the seeds? Where are the sticks?
Taraji said don't even smell the same.
Taraji said she wanted organic. She don't want that GMO stuff.
No, we need seeds. We need seeds and sticks.
That's
real.
Snoop, I'm gonna call Snoop.
Taraji B. Hinton, we appreciate you for joining us. Tracy J, thank you so much.
Make sure y'all
Tracy, we'll
watch.
see you Sunday.
Make sure y'all go to Facebook Watch and check out Peace of Mind on Monday, October 11th, and check Tracy Jade out at the Mental Wealth Expo this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square. It's free and open to the public.
All righty. Well, it's the Breakfast Club. Good
Thank
morning.
you,
Thank you for
guys.
joining us.
Thank you, Taraji. Thank you, Tracy.
Love y'all so much, guys.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Yo.
Let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Dave Chappelle.
It's time. She's spilling the tea. This is the Rumor Report with Angela Yee on the Breakfast Club.
Well, Dave Chappelle's latest special on Netflix, The Closer, has caused a lot of controversy. I'm pretty sure he knew that it would. And the National Black Justice Coalition is calling on Netflix to remove the special from the streaming service. Now, immediately after its release, we've been hearing all kinds of things and people weighing in. Some people thought it was absolutely hilarious. Some people had issues with things that Dave said. Now, GLAAD posted, Dave Chappelle's brand has become synonymous with ridiculing trans people and other marginalized communities. Negative reviews and viewers loudly condemning his latest special is a message to the industry that audiences don't support platforming anti-LGBTQ diatribes. We agree.
Netflix will probably put out some numbers that'll show otherwise.
All right, now here is one of the jokes that they're upset about, and this has to do with J.K. Rowling, who is the Harry Potter author, who claimed that trans women posed a threat to those who were assigned female at birth. To be specific, she posted, if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth. And that's one of the things that she said that got her canceled.
That sounds more complicated than anything she's ever wrote.
It was very complicated.
And she wrote Harry Potter.
She goes on to, there's a lot more to it, and you have to go back and look at all the tweets that she posted that caused the controversy. But here's what Dave Chappelle had to say in The Closer.
Canceled J.K. Rowling. And they canceled her because she said in an interview, and this is not exactly what she said, but effectually, she said gender was a fact. And then the trans community got mad as They started calling her a TERF. Stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. This is a real thing. This is a group of women that hate transgender. They don't hate transgender women, but they look at trans women the way we blacks might look at blackface. It offends them. Like, ooh, this bitch is doing an impression of me. I'm Team TERF. I agree. Gender is a fact. Every human being on Earth had to pass through the legs of a woman to be on Earth. I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those that they got, I'm not saying it's not but that's like beyond or impossible. You know what I mean?
And then, by the way, this is all heavily edited for time on our show.
It's a good joke. It's a good joke. It's a good joke.
And then the other thing that people had backlash about was his joke about the baby.
The baby was the #1 streaming artist until about a couple weeks ago. Now, you know I go hard in the paint, but even I saw that was like, God damn, the baby. Ooh, he pushed the button, didn't he? Punched the LGBTQ community right in the AIDS. But, you know, a lot of the LGBTQ community doesn't know the baby's history. He's a wild guy. He once shot a nigga and killed him in Walmart. Nothing bad happened to his career. Do you see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot and kill a nigga, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings.
I told y'all earlier this week that was out of context, though. Like, the baby killed somebody in self-defense. His charges were dropped because of the self-defense. It was on camera in Walmart, if I remember the story correctly. He was with his daughter, and some guys tried to run down on him, and they had weapons from the reports I read, so he defended himself.
All the charges were dropped.
Now, Dave's larger point is valid.
Yeah, I think that was the point. That wasn't the point of it. The point of it was that this is okay for your career, and whatever the reason is, the charges were dropped, right? But then you say something it didn't necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the larger point was valid, but the baby's self-defense case was not a valid example.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle's a comedian, though. I mean, I don't think
sure he's a comedian, but guess what?
With Dave Chappelle.
Yes, sure he's a comedian, but guess what? If you're one of these people who don't really know the baby and you already thought the baby was a monster, now you think he's an even bigger monster because he just randomly killed some person in Walmart. No, that's not how that went down. It was self-defense.
Okay, so anyway, they are asking for this to be taken off of Netflix, the closer.
Why would Netflix do that now?
That's not gonna happen.
This is Dave's what sixth special?
I think that people are already aware of Dave Chappelle's jokes. And by the way, I noticed people didn't focus on what he had to say about Daphne, and that's how he ended the closer. I don't know if you all watched it yet, but Daphne was a trans woman who's a comedian who he befriended and who was supportive of him, and she was shunned from the LGBTQ community because of her support for Dave Chappelle. He actually let her perform on stage, and it's very interesting how he tells the story, but what he was saying is she was shunned and ended up taking her own life because of being shunned from her own community. So it is important for people to be able to have these discussions. If anything, if you don't agree with Dave Chappelle, at least what he's saying, I mean, he's a comedian.
And by the way, there's other things on that special you could really be outraged about. I mean, I'm not, I don't think they watched it. There's some other things they could really be outraged about.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle's a comedian. At the end of the day, he pushes the limit.
He's more than a comedian. He's a comedian, and he's one of the biggest voices we got out here. I mean, if you don't like it, just don't listen. Word up.
If you don't like it, turn it off. That's it.
I don't know what we hope to accomplish with any of this.
I don't know either.
Like, what can you do? He's buying his own comedy club. He got.
You're not going to silence him.
No.
Netflix is not taking his special down. Netflix, the last special caused controversy. Netflix didn't take it.
And by the way, let's be clear. I'm sure Dave is smart enough and quite aware to know that this is going to cause controversy.
But Dave don't care. He does.
They're going to cancel me after this one.
Yeah. And here's the other thing: Dave is not trying to be malicious. His intention is to be funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is funny.
It is.
Okay.
All right, well, that is your rumor report.
All right, thank you, Miss Yee. Charlamagne.
Yes.
Who are you giving your donkey to?
4 after the hour, man. We really need to have a conversation about how misinformation can really lead to people getting hurt. We'll talk about it.
All right. That's next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same.
Angela here. Don't you wish everything was as easy as getting quality coverage from the General Insurance? The General offers the quality coverage you deserve at prices you can afford. Switch to the General and you could save over $500. Call 800-GENERAL or visit thegeneral.com. Some restrictions apply.
Get donkey of the day, yeah, you dumb ass. You get donkey of the day, yeah, you dumb ass.
You are a donkey.
It's time for Donkey of the Day.
Donkey of the Day, huh? I'm gonna fatten all that shit around your eye.
They want this man to throw them blows, man. They waiting for Charlamagne to tap these gloves. Let's go.
They had to make a judgment of who was going to be on the Donkey of the Day. They chose you.
The Breakfast Club, bitches.
Who's Donkey of the Day today?
Well, Donkey of the Day for Thursday, October 7th goes to a brother from Maryland named Jeffrey Burnham. This brother clearly was in some pain. Clearly probably still in pain. He clearly had a lot of unhealed trauma that he never chose to deal with. Or maybe he was dealing with it and it ultimately got the best of him. I don't know. I'm not a therapist or psychiatrist. I'm not here to diagnose people. I just don't like chalking things like this up to people just being evil. Okay? Some folks are just troubled, you know, and it's a root cause to everything someone does. Well, at least that's what I tell myself, especially when I'm attempting to make sense of something senseless. Now, Jeffrey Burnham is accused of killing 3 people. Those 3 people were his brother, his brother's wife, and his mother's friend. Sending condolences and healing energy to the family of Brian and Kelly Robinette and Rebecca Reynolds. Rebecca was 83 years old. Imagine living to be 83 and then getting tragically murdered by your friend's son, who I'm sure you watched grow up, okay? Jeffrey is 49, by the way, so I know OG Rebecca saw him grow up. Now, I don't know what the motive was for killing Rebecca, but there is a motive for the killings of his brother, Brian, and his wife, Kelly. I don't think y'all are ready for the reason. I really don't. But let's go to WBAL NBC 11 for the report, please.
Police charging documents allege Jeffrey Burnham murdered his brother Brian Robinette, a pharmacist, because he believed he was killing people with the COVID-19 vaccine. Investigators based the motive on statements Burnham made to his mother one day before the murder. Jeffrey stated to Evelyn, his mom, that he wanted to confront Brian about the government poisoning people with COVID vaccines, and that he repeatedly stated Brian knows something. Court papers show Brian and his wife Kelly were shot multiple times by a .40 caliber handgun. Investigators say Burnham then stole his brother's red Corvette and stopped at an unidentified person's home seeking gas. Police described the person as a tipster. Brian and Kelly Robinette leave behind 2 grown children. A GoFundMe page has been set up to help them. So far, it's raised more than $75,000.
This is why misinformation, disinformation is dangerous. This is why social media is not just social media. This is why YouTube is not just YouTube. I don't know where Jeffrey was getting his, information in regards to the vaccine, but I would be pretty safe in placing a bet on the internet for 500, Alex. Okay, I know that there's a clear divide and debate between the vaxxed and unvaxxed and people, pro-vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, but come on, man. This is nuts. Okay, your brother was a pharmacist. All right, you know how many vaccines and drugs he administered to people over the years? I don't even know how long he was a pharmacist. I just know that pharmacists literally, distribute prescription drugs to individuals. Okay, they also give advice to patients and other health professionals on how to take medication, what dosage to take, and potential side effects. I'm saying all that to say, if there's one person who is not taking the administering of any drugs personal, it's a pharmacist. They are just simply doing their job, okay? Hepatitis A, hepatitis B, mumps, measles, pneumonia, polio, chickenpox, flu, whatever the vaccine is, that Brian was giving out. He was simply doing his job, okay? Jeffrey never once thought about all the other vaccines his brother had been administering over the years, but because we live in an era where everyone is a scientist and all these folks who attend YouTube University, okay, they know so much about the vaccine and they are going around saying the vaccine is killing people. This brother Jeffrey, who was probably already disturbed and dealing with some type of mental illness, heard that and thought his brother was out here killing folks simply because he's a pharmacist who was giving out the COVID vaccine. So he decided to kill his brother and his wife. I wonder if he ever thought about shooting up a fast food restaurant. Ever thought about shooting up someone who sold cigarettes? I'm just saying, okay, there's a lot of things out here poisoning us. Why just the COVID vaccine? And your brother, who was a pharmacist, who was just doing his job, it's because COVID is the trending topic of the moment. That's it. That's it. Thank God Jeffrey didn't know anybody in the tobacco industry. Okay? Please give Jeffrey Burnham the biggest hee-haw. Jesus.
All right.
Lord have mercy.
Well, thank you for that donkey of the day.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Up next, Ask
By the way,
what?
misinformation is a virus unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if there's a vaccine for it because nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. And when you believe what you believe in this era, there is always something or somebody you can look at that will reinforce whatever it is you believe, even if what you believe is some BS.
All right. Ask Yee. 800-585-1051. If you need relationship advice or any type of advice, call Yee right now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
What you want to know?
Baby mama issues? Need some words of wisdom? Call up now for Ask Yee. 800-585-1051. The Breakfast Club.
Come on.
Need relationship advice? Need personal advice? Just need real advice. Call up now for Ask Yee.
Keep it real.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. It's time for Ask Yee. Hello, who's this?
Good morning, y'all. It's Cam calling from Irvington, New Jersey.
What's up, bro? What's your question for Yee?
Good morning, Yee. Good morning, Charlamagne.
Peace, King.
Good morning, Red. Good morning, Ed. Dan. Yee, so my question is, I'm pretty sure y'all aware that prices for renting apartments have gone skyrocket high, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, a one-bedroom now is $1,500. Me and my ex have been dealing with each other for 8 years.
Okay.
And I'm coming back from Atlanta because I told you I was down there for the DJ Envy Car Show, and I stayed down there to promote. So I'm wondering, do you think it's a good idea for us to move in and try to work out again? Just because we make like $20 an hour, but like it's hard to find a place where we can pay rent and be able to still do other things we want to do.
Okay, so you want to move in with your ex and then try to work it out instead of the other way around?
I mean, we already been like talking and working it out. We just haven't been living together.
Okay. I mean, look, I can't tell you when to move in with somebody, but don't move in just for financial reasons. Move in because you feel like this is going somewhere and this is who you want to be with. Because there is nothing worse than when you move in with somebody and realize it was a mistake and don't want to come home.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
So take the finances out of it. Is this somebody you want to live with?
I mean, out of everybody I dealt with in my recent experience.
I'm not saying out of everybody you dealt with, this is the best. No, is this somebody you want to live with?
Like, can I live with them? Or do I
No,
want to?
not can you. Do you want to? Because you have options. You don't have to. Do you want to? You could always get a roommate or two. But I'm asking you, is this somebody you want to live with? Forget the finances, forget out of the people I've dealt with. No, I'm talking about, is this somebody you see yourself with that you want to be with?
Yes, I do see myself with her, but you know how that is when you stay living together, then you go to the next step of marriage. Like, it's just that next step. Because, you know, after you move in, the next thing is potentially marriage.
It sounds to me like you're very uncertain. And I just want to say, if you're uncertain about it, don't do it.
I'm not uncertain. It's just something that's new. Like, have you ever lived with your ex before?
Yes, I have. It was a nightmare.
Oh, damn.
But I'm not saying it can't work. You know, I'm just saying when I ask you that, because you can't predict what's going to happen, when I asked you, is this somebody that you want to live with? You couldn't just say yes. You had all kinds of other things to say. Well, you know, out of the people I dealt with, this is the most, well, you know, rent is really high, and, you know, I only make this much, and she make, like, you have every other reason. The reason is not because this is who I want to be with.
I understand what you're saying. But I also don't want to have a roommate because I don't believe two grown men should live together, honestly.
That is the silliest thing I ever heard, because what it is right now is I also don't believe that I should be living with somebody solely for the purpose of, well, you know, we do get along and we have sex with each other sometimes and rent is really high. That's a bad reason. I'd rather you have a male grown roommate than somebody that you come home and y'all are arguing and you regret that you did it, and now y'all got to figure out who's going to terminate the lease and move out and find a roommate.
Oh, no, it's not like arguing or anything like that. It's just that we haven't lived together, and we've been in a relationship. We stopped talking because I was focused on my business, trying to build it because I'm an entrepreneur, and that's really my main focus. So I've traveled this recent summer. I've been traveling through the whole East Coast, like trying to promote my brand. So now I'm coming back up to the tri-state area, and it just seems like it would make sense that we've been dealing with each other for so long. It's not like we're arguing, I have a problem. It's just like that big step of when you are together on the lease, and then, you know, finances are going to be together. It's just something that it's new to me, so that's why I'm asking.
Well, I just want to say having a grown male roommate is not a big deal, especially you said you're an entrepreneur. It's actually a smart decision if you're trying to save money and do what it is that you got to do. But if you want to live with her because you really love her and care about her and see it going further, then do it. If that's not the reason and it's just because, well, I don't want to live with a roommate and I want to save money, that's not a good reason.
All right, so maybe I should have rephrased it. I'm not saying I'm in love with her, but I do love her, and we do get along. But that was my main concern. Like, when you do it together, you know how finances come together, and you're basically like in an agreement.
So you're willing to not date anybody else and just her?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, I can't tell you what to do in this particular situation. I just want you to weigh out your options. What you should do is write down the list of pros and cons in the situation and really think about it.
All right, that's good advice. You mind if I plug my brand? Maybe I don't need a roommate. All right, everybody, my brand is called The Hustlers Culture. You can find us on Instagram. That's The Hustlers with an S Culture. Basically, we're branding what it means to be an entrepreneur, whether you're a single parent, entrepreneur, student athlete.
Shacking up.
Or
shacking up. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, chill. Or a radio host. Anybody that has a dream of bettering themselves and becoming a boss. This is what the brand is. Just branding what it means to be an entrepreneur.
All right,
good. Make this the official brand of a hustler.
All right. Thank you so much. And listen, don't be thinking about what other people think about living with another adult male. No, as an entrepreneur, you also got to know there's certain sacrifices you make for the greater good, and it's temporary. So don't even think like that.
I appreciate it. Can I send y'all some stuff?
Go ahead. Hold on.
And thank you for coming by the car show, too, man.
All right, Evie.
All right. Ask Yee, 800-585-1051. If you need relationship advice or any type of advice, call Yee now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Keep it real with you. Get some real advice with Angela Yee. It's Ask Yee.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We're in the middle of Ask Yee. Hello, who's this?
Hey, good morning. This is Julia.
Hey, Julia. What's your question for Yee?
Hi, Yee. Good morning. Julia. I was trying to get some advice about, I think in the past you mentioned having a stalker.
Yeah, I've had a couple, but
Okay, so yeah, I have a stalker situation. We actually share a child. Our child is 2 years old, so it's kind of complicated. But obviously, I've never dealt with a situation like this, and it's really scary.
So talk to me about what's happening.
So he kind of always tracked me and did weird stuff while we were together, but while I've been trying to separate myself from him, I caught him outside my house. He always knew my whereabouts, but the other night he actually went to jail. An officer caught him red-handed trying to break into my apartment.
Woo, dangerous. And you have a child.
Right.
Well,
and he was released from jail on a GPS monitor, and I did go file for a restraining order. But in my mind, I don't know what separates a creepy stalker from someone who ends up, making a woman end up on the news.
And guess what? Nobody knows what separates that because you can never tell, right? How far is it going to go? And that sounds to me like it has potential to be dangerous. What if he would have been able to break in? That's illegal. You can't do that. What if you decide to move on with your life and date somebody else and something happens? What if your daughter's around and he does something in front of her and it harms her or it harms you? And so you can't take those things lightly. And you always have to look at it like this, because I did have to get a restraining order against an ex-boyfriend before. You're right. And I did that when I was younger. And that was off the advice of somebody else that told me you have to get a restraining order, because at the end of the day, you might feel a little bit bad, like, man, I don't want anything. But he doesn't feel bad when he's doing these things to you.
Right.
And so you can't have sympathy for somebody who is putting themselves in a position where now you have to take legal action. And there's nothing worse than feeling unsafe. And in particular, you have a daughter, so you have to put that above everything else. If something happens to you or her, you would never forgive yourself for not doing what you could have done to prevent it. And sometimes the wake-up call is, look, if you come near me or you do something like this again, you're going to go to jail. So that's on you. If you make a decision to do something stupid, that was your decision.
Okay. Thank you.
So listen, make sure you go to all your court dates, get that restraining order that you need to get. Don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. He put himself in this position.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck. Ask Ye, 800-585-1051. Now, we got rumors on the way, Ye?
Yes, Kodak Black did a sit-down with academics for his Off the Record podcast, and we'll give you some of the takeaways.
All right, we'll get into that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Listen up. This just in.
All the gossip. The Rumor Report.
Gossip.
With Angela Yee.
It's the Rumor Report.
The Breakfast Club.
All right, well, Kodak Black sat down with DJ Academics on Off the Record, and some of the things he talked about is his support of Donald Trump and how he would still be in jail if it wasn't for him.
I think still didn't want you to even show appreciation type. So I expect to do it. I don't want to be that. Oh, Trump. He shows you.
Bless the homie, because I would have still been in prison right now, homie.
Say he doing a rally and be like, yo, could you come perform real quick?
I come through for that boy. I'm embedded. I wanna wash his hand. I'm saying, one hand wash the other, two hands wash the face. He looked out for me like greatly. Like I want to pull through for that boy.
I would tell young Kodak, you don't owe Trump anything, and just because somebody does something good for you doesn't mean they are good for you. But I can totally understand why Kodak feels the way he feels.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and he wants to return the favor. He would still be in jail right now, so I mean, he's like, look, whatever I need to do to return this favor, I'll do.
But see, I wonder about that though, because like the president did a pardon. Do you owe the president a favor just because he pardoned you, regardless of who the president is?
I think he also feels like, remember, when he was in prison, he was getting beat up by the guards, and he had all kinds of issues, and he felt like nobody was really supporting him in his community. Like he put out a post about it, and he was trying to get some support, and this is just how he feels. That
I get it. I totally understand why he feels the way he feels.
He got me out of jail. I couldn't be there anymore. There were awful things happening to me there. I wanted to come home. This person made it happen. So for him personally, that's how he feels, because that happened for him.
I totally get it, but I would just tell him, just because somebody does something good for you doesn't mean they're
I
good
think
for
I would
you.
be the same way though. President got me out. I'm locked up. I'm getting beat up. I want to be home with my family. He says, "Okay, here, I'm a part of you."
I do want, like I said,
want to show that favor back, but he did it for a reason. He didn't do it because Kodak was a good guy and that was his favorite guy.
But that's what I mean.
Because he wanted probably Kodak to tell his fans.
And it's all about relationships
to
too,
support
right?
him,
Who
I'm
is
sure.
asking the president? Who's your lawyer? Who's got that in?
And I get it. Kodak was in hell, and prison is a hell, so I get it.
And he felt kind of abandoned from people, and then this, so he's just happy to be home. He also said while he was in prison, he wrote a movie and wants to cast Zendaya in it. And other things that he discussed was his case, right? Because he was accused of sexual assault, and things have since been resolved. I believe the case was dropped. Here's what he had to say about that.
They know I ain't did that. If they felt like I did it, they wouldn't have came on no plea, a year probation. That shit 30 years. Them people dropped that, went the simple bad of it to the point they were like, you ain't got to report as no sex offender, you ain't got to da-da-da-da-da. And I'm already on federal probation. You got other so they got to pay a bit of me and all that. Yeah. I ain't pay a bitch, man. You know I ain't did that. They know I ain't did. I took a lot of tests.
That might went over people's head, but that's some real right there. You ain't no that pay somebody off to switch their story
Man,
type.
That, homie. Yeah, trust.
Ooh. Okay. Well, you can watch that whole thing off the record.
It's crazy. I feel like I speak fluent Kodak. Like I be understanding everything Kodak be talking about.
Yeah.
I do. I just understand him.
All right. Now, Kanye has gotten his first diamond plaque of his career. And they did announce that Stronger has been certified diamond. So that means 10 million in sales in the U.S. So congratulations.
That one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Congrats.
I don't know what that was you just did.
She knew.
I speak fluent Envy. I understand everything he says.
There you go.
I feel like throughout the years I've gotten used to things that he says, and now I can speak fluent Envy.
Exactly what it was.
Exactly where he's coming from.
I don't want to learn that language.
All right, now Bia has responded to critics of her BET Hip Hop Awards performance. And some people were saying they felt like she was just sitting on the couch the whole time. Some people felt like it lacked energy. It wasn't lively. She did share a video of her with a very lively performance from her tour. And she also said, "It's giving. I wish it was me, LOL." She said, "One thing about me, I'm always going to stay grateful and perfect my craft. Thanks for the constructive criticism. I take it all in and come back harder next time."
And she performed with Lil Jon, right?
Yeah, Lil Jon came
Bia.
out. Yeah, she did a whole lot of money first, and then they did their song together. But when I seen her at the red carpet, she was super duper excited. She was excited. She had so much energy. But this is her first performance on a major platform. This was her first red
she's
carpet.
performed at the Latin Grammys before.
True.
She's won awards.
She was nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, but
That's right.
she
You
still
don't
did
know.
good.
Anxiety might have kicked in. She might have had nerves. You never know what it was.
Or maybe this was just what her performance was and it didn't translate the way she thought it would.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even see it. I just saw a still
She
picture
starts off on the
some
couch
shit.
doing a whole lot of money and then
She laid down
Lil
the first
Jon
verse.
comes out. But she's dope. I really like Bia a lot. So, you know.
I just read a headline that Lil Jon came out with Bia.
He did.
Okay, now Nas is joining Masterclass, and Masterclass is that streaming platform anybody can learn about the world's best. That class is going to be available on October 14th next week, and so it's called Nas Teaches Hip Hop Storytelling. It's the first time he's going to break down his process and life story in this way and share his journey. And we do have something special for y'all this morning because as part of the class, he also did a brand new song with Hit Boy that's just for Masterclass so that you can watch him write and rhyme in real time. So the song title is Big Nas. And we have a preview to the class. We have the song, by the way, it doesn't come out till tomorrow, so we do have this preview for you guys. Or maybe it comes out later today. But no one's heard it yet. All right, so let's do that right here. Big Nas from his masterclass.
A man reproduces himself through his child, so when he leave here, he can just smile. But I see fit to stay here a while, maybe buy a timeshare somewhere, rock bumwear, beach chair, write a book each year.
Dropping the clues bomb from Nasir Jones and Hit Boy.
All right.
That was the combination I never knew I needed. That was the rapper-producer combination I never knew I needed, man. Nas and Hit Boy.
All right. Well, that is your rumor report. Now, shout out to Revolt. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Everybody else, the People's Choice Mix is up next. Let's go.
The Breakfast Club. Your mornings will never be the same.
Angela here. Don't you wish everything was as easy as getting quality coverage from the General Insurance? The General offers the quality coverage you deserve at prices you can afford. Switch to the General and you could save over $500. Call 800-GENERAL or visit thegeneral.com. Some restrictions apply.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now we got a shout to Taraji P. Henson for joining us this morning and Tracy Jade.
Taraji P. Henson and Tracy Jade, man, I love those two queens. Peace of Mind starts back on Facebook Watch on October 11th. And Tracy is going to be at my Mental Wealth Expo this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. She is actually speaking on the Black Woman's Mental Health panel. So I can't wait to see that conversation. And everybody, please, the Marriott Marquis Times Square in New York City, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is free and open to the public. And also, too, on that panel with Tracy Jenkins is Dr. Rita Walker, Dr. Chairman Jackman, Corey Minor Smith, and it's moderated by Dr. Alfie Breland Noble. So pull up, man. We're having a whole day of mental health education and healing education, and it's free and it's open to the public. So anybody who's looking to get started on a healing journey, or you're on a healing journey and you just want more tools, more resources, want to know more people, this is the event for you. The Mental Wealth Expo this Sunday, World Mental Health Day, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Marriott Marquis Times Square in New York City. Can't wait to see you.
All right. When we come back, we got the positive note, so don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. I'm heading out to Virginia tonight. Of course, this weekend is Hampton's homecoming. Shout out to all the schools, all the HBCUs. I know a lot of schools are canceling homecoming, or they are canceling a lot of the events. Thank God that Hampton is not canceling. They are restricting. It's, I think, 50% capacity at the game and a host of others. But I am going down there. Shout to Pepsi, shout to Nissan. We're going to have a lot of fun. Shout to all the alumni, all right?
Salute to all the 40 and ups who going to be doing stretches just so they can wild out when Nuck If You Buck come on. You know what I'm saying?
Surfing.
And swag surfing.
That's right. And before I let go,
all right.
all three of them.
Don't hurt yourself and back that ass up. Come on, okay?
Oh, my goodness.
Remember, you got a family at home now. All right? Don't forget you got a family at home.
My goodness.
Okay?
All right. You got a positive note?
I do. The positive note is simply this, man. Give thanks to the Lord, for God is good. God's love endures forever. I just wanted to say that. All praises due.
Breakfast Club, bitches!
Y'all finished or y'all done?